So I saw Frozen 2, the movie that everyone has been clamoring to see, the sequel to the smash hit Frozen. And this movie is Frozen. Again, it's the same movie.
Papa, that was epic.
So Frozen 2 is obviously a sequel. We all know it's a sequel. And everyone knows about Frozen because the soundtrack to that movie has been playing on repeat since it released in 2013. The last 6 years has just been nothing but Let It Go. You want to build a snowman, which has become intensely annoying. But now we have Frozen 2. And this is an obvious sequel. This is a sequel everyone knew was coming because Frozen 1 made $1 billion. Literally made $1 billion. And so we have Frozen 2. And this is the safest, the most generic, and probably the blandest movie I've seen in a while. It's not bad. The movie itself is fine because mainly the animators are incredible. The animation is gorgeous. There's points in this movie where I was completely wowed by how great the movie looks. There's amazing textures, amazing environments. It's a little hokey having like cartoon characters live in this super textured, almost photorealistic world, but it's fine. It works. It looks great. The music is still pretty good here. It's not as good as it is in the first one, and I don't think there is going to be a big hit. They're trying to push Into the Unknown, which was stupid.
Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
It's like one of my least favorite songs in the whole movie, but they're pushing that one to try and have another Let It Go, another thing that they can have that will make them money, another piece of the movie that can make them money, because the first one didn't make enough. So they're pushing a lot of parts of the soundtrack to try and have another Let It Go. But that aside, it is still pretty good. There is one of my favorite songs is Lost in the Woods, which is a kind of tongue-in-cheek, playful song. That's really fun. It's sung by the most disposable character in the movie, but it's still probably my favorite song. That aside, the voice acting is good as well, but that's kind of it. The story is overly complicated and obnoxious in ways that are hard to talk about without spoiling some things, so I'm going to spoil some things. And the script itself is just really dumb. It's really dumb, and it feels like the same movie again. It feels like the characters go the exact same places that they did in the first movie. It's just less interesting and more obvious now, if it wasn't in the first movie, which it was. So the story here is about the same characters from the first movie: Anna, Elsa, reindeer, boyfriend, snowman. I don't know their names. I don't care. I don't like any of them outside of those main two characters. So it's about them. They go into this enchanted woods or something, and then they meet some people that are trapped there because the woods, there's a fight there that broke out between their people and the Indian people that live there, because their people built the Indian people a dam to help them, and then fighting broke out and the woods locked everyone in and locked everyone out. No one can come in or out. So they go in because Elsa's magic, and magic whatever. You can do whatever you want because it's magic. They go in and they try to figure out how to make the forest better. It's very vague. They just try and help the forest because they're being called there by something, whatever. So from the get-go, this is all established in basically the first scene. They talk about the forest, they talk about the fight, they talk about the dam.
Far away, as north as we can go, once stood an enchanted forest.
You've seen an enchanted forest?
Yes, it was a magical place, but something went wrong. Since then, no one can get in or out.
They talk about all that crap, and from that scene on, I knew exactly where it was going, and if you don't, then you probably have never seen a movie before because it's the most obvious place it could possibly go. The dam's bad. The Anna Elsa people turned on the Indian people who are unarmed, and they fought them, and that's why the forest got angry, and whatever. It's just the most cookie-cutter, generic story, bland twist possible. The movie's incredibly predictable from the start. You can tell where it's going, you can tell what's going to happen, and it's very boring. But That's just the basic story. Because there are three major plots going on in the movie. There's one surrounding Elsa, one surrounding Anna, and one surrounding boyfriend. The one surrounding the boyfriend's the worst, by far, because he wants to propose to Anna or something, and he's like a big idiot about it. He keeps messing it up, and then he just gets ditched by them. Just because. He gets ditched, and then he has this song about being lost in the woods, and then the movie ditches him. Excuse me. Everyone ditches him, and he literally disappears from the movie until he just happens to be in just the right place at just the right time near the end to come back into the story. He's the worst character by far. He's incredibly uninteresting. He has no sway on anything. He barely does anything. The movie literally abandons him because they don't know what to do with him, and his arc is virtually the same as the first movie in that he falls in love with Anna and then they get married at the end. It's the same arc for him, except they get married, and that's a little different. So it's different, but it's not.
You can't just follow me into fire. Then don't run into fire.
Then the second plot is about Anna, who is being very clingy to Elsa. She's like, I want to be there for you. I want to help you. And then Elsa pushes her away, and then the movie pushes her away because they don't know what to do with her until Elsa goes onto this magic glacier and finds out the truth that was very obvious, gets frozen for some reason because why not, I guess, and then sends for help for Anna to help her by showing her the truth with some magic, ice sculpture. I don't even know how that happened. It's whatever, it's magic, so whatever. And then she goes and breaks the dam with the help of some big giant guys, and then the woods is safe and Elsa's fine. And so it's the same arc for both of those characters. Again, Elsa ran away in the first movie to find herself, and Anna saved her, and then she found herself, and they found each other, and blah, whatever. And then that's the same thing here. Elsa gets trapped, Anna saves her, and then they find themselves. It's the same movie, again, just with a slightly different package around it. It's just the most generic, safe sequel you can possibly imagine. I mean, if you like the first one, you might like this one, but I can't imagine that this one will get the same praise or hype that the first one did, especially because the soundtrack just isn't as good. I mean, that's the biggest pull to that first movie, and why people loved it so much is because they would say, I really like the movie, but I love the soundtrack. Here, it's going to be, I like the movie, and I like the soundtrack. It's just not as good. It's way more forgettable. So it's like a 6. It's not really worth seeing. You just watch the first one again. It does everything this movie does, but just better, except for the animation. The animation is pretty superb, but that's it. So.
Shina,